Howdy. We got a few Texans up in here. Many of y'all don't know who I am. Thanks for like the 3 people that clapped. One of them was my wife. And what I'm going to do in the next 5.5 minutes is just tell you a little about who I am. Let's start with the simple things. My name is Jason Bourne. No, not joking. My name is Will Hurd. I grew up in San Antonio, Texas. I was a mama's boy. Thank you for San Antonio. I was a mama's boy. You know, I had a speech impediment until I was in high school. My head has literally been this size since I was 4. I have documentation of this. My last name rhymes with nerd. I shouldn't say that out loud because someone's going to use that against me. But it was my mother and my mom's undying love that helped me get through all those issues. Oh, and also, I wore a size 14 shoe when I was in the 5th grade. Right? Though to say I was bullied is an understatement. Now, I'm glad I grew up before social media because the bullying stopped at 3:30 when I went home. But this was something that, for me, impacted my life, and for me to be able to fight for people that need help being fought for. You know, it gave me an opportunity. I've loved tinkering with stuff. I ended up getting involved in computer science when I was in high school. I studied that when I was at Texas A&M University, and I had never really been outside of Texas. And it was my freshman year, and I'm walking across campus, and I see a sign to take 2 journalism classes for $425. And I had $450 in my bank account, so I go to Mexico. Fell in love being in another culture, caused me to add international studies as a minor, and then I had a professor who was a former CIA officer, and it changed my life. And that's when I decided, and I got accepted to go into the CIA when I was 22. My job was to stop terrorists from blowing up our homeland, prevent Russian spies from stealing our secrets, and put nuclear weapons proliferators out of job. And one experience I had when I was in my first tour, I was in another country, and before you go meet someone who has secrets, you have to make sure you don't have surveillance. And I'm in a Toyota Tercel, which is a very small car, and I turned down an alley which I thought was going to be devoid of people. When I turned down it, it was like a parade, a couple thousand people. There were people hawking their wares, right? There was pack animals, and I'm driving about 4 miles an hour down this alley. This woman walks in front of my car. I mash on my brake, roll over her flip-flop, drag her foot across the concrete. Bleeding everywhere. She looks in the car and realizes I'm not from around there and starts screaming bloody murder. I have hundreds of people banging on the car, shaking the car. Now, in this situation, you're taught get off the X. The X is the location where something's going down, and the last place you want to be when something's going down is where it's going down. But my little Tercel wasn't going to be able to get me that far. I had a weapon, but not enough ammunition for this situation. I did what the people least expected me to do. I got out of my car. I unfold my 6'3" frame. I knew some of the local language were not good enough for this situation. And I said, does anybody speak English? I will remember this kid's face for the rest of my life. He parts the crowd, raises a finger in the air, and says, I speak the English. I said, sir, where's the closest hospital? He said, a couple blocks away. Fetch me a rickshaw. It's a little scooter with a carriage attached to it. Took some money out, gave it to the rickshaw driver, said, take her to the hospital immediately. She gets in the rickshaw, and it drives away. And the crowd starts clapping. They're patting me on the back. Some dude even opened my car door up and helped shove my 6'3" frame into the car. And the sea of people part, and I drive away. And I look in the rearview mirror, and everybody's waving at me, right? And my heart is beating, right? My heart is beating because I thought my mother was going to get a phone call no mother ever wants to get. Now, I share that story as an example of how there are thousands of men and women every single day putting themselves in harm's way in order for us to enjoy the freedoms that we have here in the United States. It was an experience that made me realize that I had the opportunity to serve my country in a way other people haven't. And my dear mother, may she rest in peace, we lost her this year. She always says you're either part of the problem or part of the solution. And so to honor my mother and to honor those men and women that are putting themselves in harm's way and to take care of people all across this country, this is why I'm engaging in the debate about what the future of our country needs, and that's why I decided to run for president. My name's Will Hurd. I hope to earn your trust over these next couple of weeks and months. God bless you, and may God continue to bless these United States of America.